Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are again live together on Daily Dose. So, welcome you all.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here, friends. I'm Nipasa Pradhan and I'm co hosting today's webinar right now on Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And we are live on YouTube. And it's very, very exciting because you can also be a part of this. And all you have to do is just call this number 408-335-6444. And of course, do not forget to also subscribe and maybe share this link with everyone out there who can maybe participate in this webinar with us. I mean, in this conversation with us and talk about today's topic. So I'm very, very excited, Sam, aren't you?
A lot, in fact, because today we are diving into kind of most of the critical topic that is one of the most, alarming, alarming topic of today's time, and that is why Project 2025 is alarming Americans and how it could impact immigration. So I think there is a lot to discuss on today's topic, especially what's behind this plan and why it's raising, I mean, such a huge concern and what it could mean for the future of immigration policy. But before that, I think it's always better to look at some of the latest updates on immigration around the world. So, firstly,
All
Trump
right.
has
So I think
announced.
you should, yeah. Sorry,
Please.
Sam, go ahead.
All right, all right. So, firstly, it's Trump has announced on Monday that Tom Homan, a former immigration and custom enforcement director, will serve as his border czar. While it was also reported that Donald Trump names immigration hardliner Stephen Miller to be deputy chief of policy in new administration. Moving ahead to another news, Elon Musk's daughter says that she is leaving the US after Donald Trump's win, slams Musk victim narrative. She said that I have thought this for a while, but yesterday confirmed it for me. I don't see my future being in the US, even if he's only in office for 4 years. Even if the anti trans regulations magically don't happen, the people who willingly voted this in are not going anywhere anytime soon. A day after President Donald Trump secured the winning margin to become the 47th US president, Canadian MP and leader of New Democratic Party, Jagmeet Singh, sounded cautious. In his message after Trump's winning, the pro Khalistani leader said that it was time for unity and the country came first. So here's a video where Jagmeet is saying about it. Please have a look on it.
Um, I think a lot of folks woke up today and woke up really worried, really afraid, felt crushed. And I want you to know that now is the time for us to come together to defend Canadian interests. I know that the results of Trump, right now, what it looks like Trump's election, is going to have serious impacts on Canadians. So we need to come together, all parties, all leaders, and put Canadian interests first. We have to protect Canadian jobs. We have to be prepared for the impacts of potential tariffs and what that would mean for our economy, for manufacturing, for jobs in Canada. We need to be very united to say, whatever our differences are when it comes to Canadian interests and Canadian jobs, we're all going to work together to defend Canada, to defend Canadian jobs, to defend Canadian interests. That's our priority. Donc, je sais que I think a lot of folks woke up today and
Moving ahead with our next news, that is Canada ends fast track visa program. Indian students are likely to be impacted. Here's another post that has been tweeted by Justin Trudeau in September, had announced on X, saying that we are granting 35% fewer international student permits this year. And next year, that number is going down by another 10%. Immigration is an advantage for our economy, but when bad actors abuse the system and take advantage of students, we crack down. He added in the post as Canadian government said it was looking to reduce the number of temporary residents. All right, further details will be shared by my co-host Nipasa Pradhan. Nipasa, please go ahead.
Absolutely. And just like you have shared a few highlights, I think I also have a few. And I wanted to talk about Trump appoints Miller and Blumen, just like Sam has also highlighted, to lead aggressive immigration crackdown. And What does this mean for the US border policy? Folks out there, I know everybody's anxious, but President elect Donald Trump has named Stephen Miller as Deputy Chief of Staff and Tom Hooman as his new border czar, signaling a return to his hardline immigration agenda. So, with both men deeply involved in controversial policies like family separations during his first term, what can we expect next? Will the country see the largest deportation operation in its history? I think we all just have to keep looking as the story unfolds. And also, another thing is on TikTok, users are rallying around Black Project 2025, a new moment to combat Trump's conservative agenda. And I think this is really going like wildfire on Twitter. I'm sure everybody is coming across this term. And as fear grows over the implementation of Project 2025, this is something everybody is really concerned about. A conservative plan from the Heritage Foundation, Black communities on TikTok are really mobilizing with their own counter strategy. So, dubbed Black Project 2025, its grassroots initiatives aims to foster economic independence by promoting Black owned businesses and creating a modern Black Wall Street. So, is this the start of a new economic revolution? I think we will just have to dive deeper into the plans and, yes, look forward to the movement that's already gaining a lot of traction, as we can see.
Yeah,
Then we
definitely.
also have,
Yeah,
sorry,
please go ahead.
yeah, then we also have, Project 2025, of course, the controversial conservative blueprint that Trump tried to distance himself from, just like you had also mentioned when we were speaking earlier, that even Trump himself wasn't completely on with this project, right, Sam?
Right.
I think you
Yeah.
will have more to say on this a little later, but we'll just stay tuned for now. So I think apart from this, Trump's immigration advisors are back with new plans, that's for sure. And a look at their controversial past, I think we all can expect what is ahead. But let's not just be too fearful. If we are on the right track, I don't think any much harm can happen to all of us. Yes, but Stephen Miller and Tom Hooman, two key architects of Trump's first term immigration policies, and they are back and ready to enact even stricter measures. So, with plans for an aggressive crackdown on illegal immigration, I think we have a lot to see, a lot to face, a lot to overcome, and I think a lot to be bold about as well. So, Sam, you can take it up from here if you have anything to share as well. Sam, are you there? Okay, I seem to have lost my co-host Sam. I mean, if Sam, if you're there, you can yes, and we also have the visa bulletin out for December 2024. I can see, so we can go through this also a little later. We can see a lot of procedures. The fiscal year 2025. We have section, I think we can definitely cover this a little later. We will try to pick up a few points to talk about the visa bulletin, and hopefully, there is some movement in some categories at least. Yes, F1, F2A, F2B, F3, F4. I think we have to see how much the dates have moved, dates for filing. So, yes, we will look up on the visa bulletin as well, but a little later. But for now, folks, we are here to talk about why Project 2025 is alarming and is also stirring more fear and a lot of things people are talking about. So hopefully, my co-host Sam is going to join us. But until then, Project 2025 is a conservative policy blueprint created by the Heritage Foundation with the aim of reshaping the federal government if a Republican takes office in the next presidential term. And the plan includes sweeping changes such as dismantling the Department of Education, cutting Medi- Medicaid, and reversing various social and economic policies introduced in the recent past. Well, the goal is to centralize power and drastically reduce the size of the federal government. And during his campaign, Donald Trump notably distanced himself from Project 2025, despite several of its authors having served in its previous administration. Well, Trump was quick to downplay his connection to the plan, and this move came as Democrats ramped up attacks, framing the blueprint as a roadmap for extreme conservative governance that would roll back social programs and impact marginalized communities. Trump's hesitation to fully embrace Project 2025 during his campaign appears to be a strategic move, likely aimed at appealing to a broader base of voters who might be wary of such drastic policy shifts as well. So, this is what we are expecting for sure. And I'm also expecting my co host Sam. Oh, yes, she's back. So, Sam, thank you so much for coming back. I think there was a little
There was some technical glitch, and I'm so sorry to everyone and to Nipasa also that I lost my connection. But no worries, I'm back again. And
good to have
Nipasa,
you back.
yeah, me too. And Nipasa, I think you have already shared about, right, the December visa bulletin to our viewers.
I didn't say much. We just said that it's out. We will take up a few points from it as well. So we'll
Definitely.
take it a little later, but I think we can talk about what we are here for now. Why Project 2025 is alarming. And Sam, you can take it up from here if you wish.
Sure. So, Nabasa, I think before discussing with us, I think it's always better to have some point of view from Donald Trump itself. So, I think let's have a look on a video that has
Sure.
been posted by Washington Post, where Trump is giving speech on Project 2025. Let's see what he says.
Lay the groundwork and this is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America, and that's coming. Heritage Foundation president, somebody else doing an unbelievable job. He's bringing it back to levels it's never seen. Dr. Kevin Roberts, like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
They wrote a document that many of the points are fine. Many of the points are absolutely ridiculous. I have nothing to do with the document. I've never seen the document. I've seen certain things that are said in it.
This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork.
So, I think Donald Trump himself is not very much likely for Project 2025. So I don't know how people over there they are going to accept it. It's something very unbelievable. It's something very different, that people are going to face in Project 2025. All right, folks. But before diving into today's topic, it's always better to look on the background about like who founded it out and what's the main aim of this project. So I think let me discuss about this. That firstly, Project 2025 is led by a group of conservative activists and political figures who support Donald Trump, and Heritage Foundation is the one who has organized this project. So basically, Heritage Foundation, based on Washington D.C., was founded it on 1973, and their main mission was to mold America into a more Christian conservative state. Basically, they want to prioritize Christianity. And this is the main agenda of Heritage Foundation, and that's how similarly Project 2025 is also about. So let's have a look on the key highlights of Project 2025. So, firstly, there's also reducing federal agency power. This means that now there will be some kind of reduction in the agencies like Department of Education and the Department of Homeland Security. There will also be some kind of restructuring in other departments like Department of Justice and FBI, so that to increase the political control and accountability. Second changes or second thing that we can see on Project 2025 is eliminating the Department of Education. Now, this is something very new and this is something very different. Well, this means that the US federal government would be no longer or would stop running the education system. Instead, each state and local area would have the power to make decisions about how the children are going to taught and how the education will be look like. So, Napasa, what can you say that this is something a very controversial, this is something a very, different topic that now the US federal government is not going to run the education system. Instead, the each state and the local areas have given the power to make decision how children's education will be taught on. So, do you think that it's right? Because if the federal government is only not taking responsibility of the children's education, then is it? Do you think that it's going to be helpful for the children to depend on local areas and each state government?
It's a lot to think about. I mean, folks out there, especially in America, I think they're very, very, how to say, they aim high. I mean, they don't look at community schools or colleges. I mean, most of them, they want to be in, I mean, the biggest, I think, maybe MIT or maybe the University of California or the biggest schools, the best schools, right? I think that's all they have always aimed for. So yes, but definitely, Sam, I think it's going to take a. If they won't care, then who will? If the government won't be a part of that, then who will?
Exactly. And it's also the thing that they can't also afford that much. I don't know how this is
Right.
going to be because this is something very different. Even if, as I also mentioned, that federal government is only not going to take the responsibility, then how can they expect from someone? So, as also in the video shared by Washington Post, we can also see that Trump was also saying that it's very conservative, it's very extreme. So if he's also agreeing to this, then I think there should be a valid point that people should think about it. Then moving ahead,
Mhm.
also guys, I would like to mention about few more highlights of Project 2025. That we also have the ban on abortion drugs nationwide. So, this is something that in Project 2025, there is kind of a limit access to abortion, especially using like abortion pills. So, right now, many people in US, they use pills like there's a mifepriston, yeah. So that is something pill that is going to be like demolished from US. So to end pregnancies. So because people, it's very easy for them to use that, and they can also send it through mail. So now in Project 2025, we are going to see that there's a ban on abortion drugs nationwide. So on Nepal, I would also like to discuss on this topic that like being I mean to have abortion for a mother. It's something very personal. It's something theirs right, whether they want to abort or whether they don't want to abort. But like keeping this point in a project, keeping this point legal, I mean, to try to make it legalized, do you think that it's right to talk about it, that too in a very official way? Or do you think it should be the right of a mother to decide whether they want to abort it or not?
I'm sure it is a personal choice, not just for the mother, but for both parents because they're being pregnant together. And also, I mean, with concern to single mothers or folks out there who do not want to be with the other partner. So it is a personal choice, and also they should have it a little bit to themselves, as in if they voluntarily want to or want to not keep child, right?
Yeah.
It will also, I mean, there are so many things that governing it. It may not be just health. It could be health, it could be education, it could be finance, it could be so many things. And if the parents are not ready, whether it's single or both together, I think they should be given a choice because it's also about the future of the child,
Yeah.
right? If they're not ready, how do you think that they will be able to provide the child with what the child needs?
Exactly, and that's something it's as mentioned by Trump that it's very conservative and it's very extreme. I don't know how this will lead to, but this is something that is definitely something huge. It's something that I don't think that everyone is going to be agree on this point, and they will like these projects. They will like these highlights. So I think it's something that people should be vocal about. They should talk and they should be sharing their point of views in front of everyone. So guys, it's time for you also to be vocal. If you want to share your point of view, if you want to share any highlights or anything about Project 2025 or anything about immigration, you are free to share by joining us also on this platform. So please go ahead and try to comment your points, try to be more interactive so that we can also get some different point of views and we can also learn it from you. So I
Yeah.
think Napasa, we should move ahead with another highlight also. So this is this is the most interesting one that I can see right now is that Project 2025 is more aligned with traditional Christian values. So now
Hmm.
for the very first time, I think we can see that now there's some kind of a different policy that this plan suggests policies that is focusing on protecting religious rights. So this is
Yes.
something very interesting, and this is something very like out of the box that we have seen for the very first time. So what can you say on this? That how will it lead to, and how people will like it?
Well, as we were just speaking about abortion as well, even talking about abortion, I think, especially in Christian communities, I think this is something which not any Christian can support.
Yeah.
And America as a whole maybe doesn't support abortion as well. But folks out there, I think it's, when we talk about it, this is a very hard stance. And this definitely makes us question about women's productive rights and of course healthcare access and all of that. And now comes religion. I mean, I took it back to the abortion part because it is also talking about, it is also spoken much about in Christianity. And maybe this could be one of their reasons to go conservative as well. And it is, it's been said over and over that it's a conservative blueprint, and it is known as Project 2025. So it outlines several goals, including strong emphasis on protecting religious rights. So this is, I don't know how are they protecting it. And it promises to safeguard religious freedoms, particularly in the face of what some conservatives see as growing government interference in faith-based practices. So this is very, very strong. And this could also mean stronger projections for religious organizations, businesses, and individuals who argue that their religious beliefs should shield them from certain laws,
Yeah.
even, such as those related to LGBTQ rights or healthcare or even abortion for that matter. So I think everybody is going to be questioned, whatever they are living, however they are living. I mean, everything is going to, if you just imagine if everybody is asked to become conservative again or are forced to become conservative again, if,
Yeah,
they
and
are
I
not
think this,
given.
Project 2025 is leading it to some kind of, to be more rigid, to be more conservative about it. So, okay, so here we have a picture that shows that Project 2025, that we have nothing to do with that. This is what Trump says in in his few speeches, right? We have seen that. But Nabasa, do you think that Trump will be on this statement that if we have nothing to do with that? That do you think that he won't do anything with Project 2025?
Well, maybe, maybe not, but I think what his main concern is with illegal immigrants and not much about turning the whole country into Christianity or anything as such. So I'm sure even Trump himself doesn't believe in some of the, um, you know, uh, points on Project 2025 himself. So maybe Project 2025 may not be his main priority here, but of course, other things such as mass deportation or
Yeah.
dealing with the illegal immigrants in however way possible, maybe tightening the border security, building physical walls, or whatever it is. I think those may be his main concern, apart from, of course, taking care of the country, making it more powerful than ever, and um, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. And here we have one more Trump's Project 2025. Okay, so these are the highlights, guys, that we would like to read it out. Firstly, it's
Yes.
national abortion ban, then restrict IVF access. Oh my God. Then it's family separation also, then Muslim ban. Oh my God. In the past, I think we should talk about it. That what can you say about this Muslim ban? That what can be the reason behind it?
I mean, I'm not a very pro-religious person myself. I respect all religion, and this Muslim. I mean, all these things are becoming very anti. I mean, specifically, very anti-Muslim, and I don't know how fair is that, but I think just because of one or two people, the whole community or the whole all the people who follow this religion should not be blamed. And this
Yeah.
is talking about generally, banning all kinds of Muslim people. It's not right in so many levels.
There's also that Trump was also focusing on travel ban. There was also this main point that he was also mentioning about. So in travel ban, also it was mostly about the Islamic states that it will be more,
Yes.
restricted for the Islamic states to come and to have a immigration in US. So I think that is also mentioned there also, and now Trump is mentioning in Project 2025 also. So I think it's something that he may look upon, and I think that this is something that needs to be worried, and it's definitely going to be very difficult for, especially for Islamic states, to get immigration, especially in the US. So
That's
let's move
there,
ahead.
but look at the other points. I mean, tax cuts for ultra wealthy, and then look at this guns in classrooms.
Right.
I don't know how is that going to be okay for anyone.
But I mean, are these things that guns in classrooms that really, I mean, that people used to bring these? Is it something acceptable? I think it's something unbelievable, right? I have seen it for the very first time. It's happening, and someone has to put it on the policy that you cannot bring guns in classrooms. So, oh my God, I would just say that. And we can also see that there's also replaced civil servants with MAGA loyalists. All right. So I think, and Nepasa also, one of the videos I have also seen in Trump where he was mentioning that he will be, he will be dictator for just for one day when he will be in the office, and for the next day he won't be a dictator. He will be what he is, Republican. So do you think that his leadership or the way he's planning out everything, this will lead to a dictatorship in America?
Well, if you look at Trump, he definitely gives out that vibe for sure,
Yeah,
dictating everyone, giving out that very
exactly.
Hitler vibe. And well,
All
the main
right.
reason for
So,
that on Muslims is 9/11. Okay, that is Kunal Joshi joining us. Hi, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us.
no,
You
but
can
that's,
also,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, but that's also, I mean, I would not like to point it out very much into being specifically, but I think that can also be the reason because, after 9/11 only, we need to get so many different policies. We need to get so many restrictions on immigrations also. So I think let's move ahead and read out Ayush comment. And he's saying that here is what Project 2025 says on important issues, including immigration. It discusses criminalizing pornography, speaks of doing away with commerce and education departments, and rejects the idea. Thank you so much, Ayush, for your comment. Okay, rejects the idea of abortion as health care. But one of the biggest fears about a Trump presidency and Project 2025 comes from what immigration in the US would look like, definitely. There's a provision for taking into. Thank you so much, Ayush, for sharing your point of view. And, this is also very important that we should understand. And, okay, there's also more to see. That's custody undocumented immigrants with any records of felonies, crime, previous removals, or any other crime that is considered a national security or public safety threat as defined under current laws. Definitely, Ayush, we totally agree upon you, and thank you so much, for sharing these important points and also about the pornography. So I think Napasa that this is also a very basic point and very important point that we should discuss with our viewers. That there's also mentioned in Project 2025 that there will be a ban on pornography. So what do you think that this will that I have heard that most of the people say that there's pornography, so that is why the rate of rape is increasing in each in those countries. So do you think that reducing, I mean, just banning the pornography thing will help something for the betterment of that country, or will it remain the same?
I'm not so sure if banning is going to help out because what if some people are being able to make use of it in a better way, as in like not needing another person to for pleasure and maybe helping themselves in their own way. But um, like we were talking about Project 2025 being conservative or trying to make everything become more conservative, this also goes back to that. And I don't know, after being exposed to all of this for all this long, is it going to be possible for people to start unlearning all those things and living a life like all of those things did not exist? It's going to be really hard to unlearn things you already know so much about and have been, they've been a part of your lives every day. So,
Yeah.
how is it going to be possible? I don't know. It's probably going to make them feel more restless because what they were used to, they're not going to be able to access to all of that.
Definitely. And that's also a very major point that we would like to highlight. And I think moving ahead, we should move ahead with our next key highlight also. All right. So before moving ahead to our next key highlight of Project 2025, let's go ahead and read out a range of proof points from his former staff who worked on the project to his name being mentioned. Okay, so here we can see that Project 2025 and Donald Trump, there are some facts about it that at least 140 people who worked for Donald Trump, including six of his former cabinet secretaries, helped to write or collaborated on Project 2025. Oh my God. Wow. So there we can see that strongly responsible, there are 39, and control, can you please just, yeah, thank you. And there is somewhat, okay, so we can also see the different responses. And I can see that there are people, they are mostly agreeing to it. Like at least we got 39 strongly responsible votes on this. Next, we can see Donald Trump's name is mentioned hundreds of times in Project 2025. All right. And, then he is saying that he has no idea about Project 2025, or he's not going to. I mean, he hasn't denied of implementing Project 2025 yet, but he still haven't mentioned anything clearly about it. So I think this is something very different and quite of irony, we can say. Next, we can see in just the first 2 years of his presidency, Donald Trump bragged about implementing 64% of Heritage Foundation's agenda, which is the organization behind Project 2025. Definitely. And Donald Trump has obviously bragged about implementing 64% of Heritage Foundation agenda. So I think this is also something we need to keep in point. And Donald Trump may say he doesn't know anything about Project 2025, but he is a habitual liar who is lying about his connection to Project 2025 because he knows it's unpopular. Oh my God. What can you say, Nepasa, on this? Is it fine to call him a habitual liar, or like what should would you like to say on this?
I think he's just way too passionate and wants to do so many things at the same time, but doesn't really realize that all things are going to take time. And, he gets too, how to say, excited and says it all. I think doesn't wait for the right time. Maybe that's all I can say right now.
But Nabasa, I think that right now, maybe Donald Trump, he is saying that he has no plan or these are conservative or extreme. But I think, how is that possible that Donald Trump's name is mentioned 100 times or hundred of times in Project 2025? Even though a person is not agreeing for that project, then it's also not possible, for to take that person's name. And it's also the name, we not only say Project 2025, we also say Donald's Project 2025. So, it's something that I think we should know about it. And moving ahead, Napasa, why don't you go ahead and read out the fourth one? The last one.
Donald Trump's vice presidential pick, JD Vance, is deeply connected to Project 2025. Vance has deep ties to Project 2025's author, has praised the author publicly, and has endorsed many of Project 2025's ideas.
Yeah. This is also something, like, God, what to say on these. All right, and moving ahead with our next key highlights. Also, I think we should move ahead and learn what are the different more key highlights. So, Nepal, there's also the require public high school students to take a military entrance assessment. So it's also a must. In Project 2025, it's mentioned that if the students are in high school, then they need to have the military entrance assessment. So, like, I would like to know your point of view. That do you think that okay? But before that, let me tell you the main agenda of Project 2025 behind this. That they want to spread awareness and they want to, make more. I mean, they want to make students more familiarized about the military and its benefits. So, Nipasa, what can you say? That do you think that it's necessary for the high school students to go with this military assessment, or is it like not needed? What's your point of view?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot like South Korea for sure. And all schools and university students, it's going to become mandatory to get military training. And that is what is happening in South Korea. So you can already see, I mean, it scares them for sure. Imagine like teenagers. I mean, we're say ages 14 to 18 to 22. I mean, folks out there who will be going to the battlefield, I mean, real life battlefield, not virtual battlefields, not on screen, but real life, and be exposed to all those kinds of threat. Military training is okay, but being out there, and in North Korea, you have to join the military even before you are born. So
Yeah.
this very much sounds like, you're going to follow the footsteps of Korea now. K-pop is not just ruling, but looks like the Korean culture is going to go like wildfire in every way possible.
Yeah, maybe this idea has been taken from South Korea itself. But, Napasa, if I would like to say, then I should say that, somewhere it's good also and somewhere it's bad also, because
Yeah.
it's like something, it should be a kind of a choice. The people who are interested, I mean the students, those who are interested, they can go ahead and please feel free to have military assessment. But the people or the students who are not willing to, or who are trying to have their own different interest, then I think that should also be free for them. It shouldn't be something very much restrictive. It shouldn't be something kind of a rule that you need to go ahead and need to have this assessment if you are in high school. So I think this project 2025 is very much tough, very much rough, and very much conservative, even though Trump says, but still, I think he is favor in this right now after seeing the chart. So I think this is something, very important, and this is something a very critical topic also for our viewers to know. And yeah, anything, Vipasa, that you would like to share on Project 2025 regarding also, I mean, anything about education, like how the now in Project 2025 they are trying to eliminate the Department of Education, then also they are trying to reduce federal agency power. Do you think that these changes or these new rules are going to make America great or is going to deteriorate America?
Definitely is going to confuse America because all the citizens of America are going to be confused whether they should be going on with all their plans they've already been having for years now, or they should just suddenly change just because Trump is, out there and he has changed all the rules for them. So they have to forget being all they were and now become whatever Trump says. And that is becoming conservative, maybe forgetting that abortion even exists, forgetting that your other religion exists. You just have to be Christian for that matter, or join, I mean, military for that matter, or even, I mean, all these things, whatever the Project 2025 says, and sorry, my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Sorry. So yes, when you talk about it, there is a bold vision for change, but there is so much more rejection of the deep state. Then there is pushback against Biden era policies, a step towards authoritarianism, and then Christian nationalism and culture wars, and then political strategy and risks. And I think the eagerness among Republicans for Project 2025 really highlights a vision of profound change and aiming to reshape American governance along conservative lines. I think I can only wish all of America, all of us, all the very best because things look like there is drastic change coming up, and we all have to just pull up our socks and be ready for it if we have to.
Right. And I think here we also have one chart which shows that immigration applications and petitions likely suspended by Project 2025. Oh my God. So I think let's go ahead and read it out. That relatives of US citizens and green card holders, affirmative asylum, temporary protected status, provisional unlawful presence waivers, Cuban permanent residents, then asylee permanent residents, victims of human trafficking cooperating with law enforcement, victims of crime cooperating with law enforcement, then also qualifying family members of cooperative victims of crime, then investor removal of conditions on permanent residence. Then we can also see passport and or visa waivers. Then Americians, widower, and special immigrants, then designations of regional investment centers. So, Nepasa, we can see that these are so many things, and also immigration applications, they themselves are likely to suspend, likely suspended by Project 2025. So, I think what can you say that what impact will it make on immigration? Will it make immigration a better one, or will like people needs to be fear about it on by coming Project 2025?
See, you can, when you read that, the bottom part, which says, if control, if you can just zoom in a little bit, and it says that, Project 2025 directs USCIS to suspend the intake of any immigration category with an excessive backlog. So, though the standard for excessive is not defined in Project 2025, we
Yeah.
predict that the above categories would be impacted by such a policy because the quantity of pending cases exceeds average annual case completions in these categories by more than double. That's true, especially for countries like India and China,
Yeah.
based on case completion rates in fiscal years 2014 to 2023. And yeah, so I think what do you think? Isn't it a good news then if it's going to impact mm, immigration in a positive way, especially when backlogs are concerned? Excessive backlogs.
Yeah, of course. I think this has to be some kind of relief also. And but as we look on the highlights of Project 2025, I think it's something also to be worried to, if if this is the thing, and if Trump also says that he will be a dictator for a day, he will restrict the border, he will make a huge wall only for a day, and if he is successful in those missions, then he will let his dictatorship for a day be gone, and after the next day he will be back into his own republican thing. So I think that will also be that might happen, and I think Americans should also be ready for that, so that they can prepare themselves, they can know what it's going to happen, and they can take better care of them and their families too. So yeah, that's how it should be. And there is something else, Nepasa, that would you like to read it out for our viewers?
Well, I think all these things are going. I think what I want to share right now, Sam, if you don't mind me, I want to share my screen for a few comments which were there
Yeah,
on
sure.
Facebook. Let's just see. So this was one from the New York Times, saying Democrats had spent months trying to tie to Donald Trump's Project 2025 while he falsely claimed that he knew nothing about it. I mean, remember that other poster which you shared earlier saying they don't have anything to do with Project 2025. Here's what to know about the 900-page plan to overhaul the federal government and who is behind it. And this is the picture. Tax hike for the middle class, tax cut for the wealthy. American workers will get less pay for more work, and so many other things. And we
Right.
also I had also spoken about this in the beginning about Black Americans who are terrified, and they have something called the Black Project 2025. So, everybody is talking about this, and there are comments which are mixed. Some are saying that TikTok is a children's app. What do you have to say about that?
I think this is this is something can't comment, because if William thinks that TikTok is a children's app, then it may be.
And see this one. Well, are young people in need to read post traumatic syndrome Bull, the route to their understanding in their 21st century societies? Yes.
Yeah.
God is in control of fear of him, not the orange man who wears an expensive hairpiece. Oh, goodness me.
There's also this one, yeah, clock who is commenting on the post. Okay, okay, all right.
So there you go. There's so much, and we had Rolling Stones, which had shared this post. Now that election is over, I think we can finally say that, yeah, Project 2025 is the agenda. Lol. So can we admit that we are going to implement Project 2025? What do you think, though, Sam? Is it really going to be implemented? Is it?
Um, I don't know exactly that will it be, I mean, will it going to be implemented or not, but I think maybe some of the pointers or some of the highlights, that may get implemented. Maybe not everything about Project 2025, but I think some on the other few pointers are like important, are necessary also. So I think those needs to be implemented, and few are definitely not very much, helpful. Those are kind of like shows that it is promoting dictatorship. So I think it shouldn't be. And let's see how Trump do. I mean, what Trump does, because he's obviously very much unpredictable. So we can't predict anything when he's governing.
Yeah. Well, I was just going through some memes also. So there was.
Yeah, when Donald Trump was working in MACD.
Yeah.
So I think, this is something very much like he smartly played this strategy, by connecting with more with common people. So
Yeah.
I think this is something that he had played well, and people literally got influenced by his work and by his stance on whatsoever he does. So this is something very influencing.
For sure. And his dances are, going viral everywhere. I think this is, yeah. It's nice to see that anyway.
Yeah, these are also
So,
very interesting.
yeah.
Well, Donald Trump is also very much, he has so much to, talk about. I mean, it's not something that Donald Trump is very stagnant. He is
Mhm.
like just a minute, he will be someone else, and before a minute, he will be someone else. So I think there's so much to talk about Donald Trump, and that too, he's also, now let's see what he is going to work on Project 2025, as people are more scared and people are more, tensed about it. So here we also have Kunal Joshi's comment where he's mentioning that Trump has Agenda 47, which he launched during elections. One of the most stringent provision is arrest and detention of immigrants without a warrant. Even judges would have to enforce more strict immigration rules. But Trump has neither accepted the project's immigration measures nor other aspects of it. But his own Agenda 47 has strict measures against immigration. I think Kunal, yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing and thanks also for participating. I think this is also something, we need to highlight that Trump has already mentioned that he's going to have mass deportation, and doesn't matter that whether that family or whether it's what, but they are going to, I mean, family separation part, they are going to travel bans, I mean, do travel bans. Then they are also going to implement some different policies also that will definitely, on the other, will stop immigrants to settle in the US. So I think this is something
Yeah.
that, yeah, right, Napasa, what would you like to say that about Trump, that how this is going to impact on immigration?
Yeah, when you talk about Agenda 47, just like Kunal is saying, thank you so much, Kunal, for highlighting this. Of course, how could we not speak about this? So, it's a policy framework, and I think this is what he really cares about, Trump, more than Project 2025, because this is his own. And this the core areas that Agenda 47 is going to really look into is immigration and border security, and then of course restoring America's global strength. I think this is going to be very important for Trump, because we had recently seen war, and coming out of all of that and building all that was destroyed is going to be a good one, and is his main motive as well. So Trump has framed Agenda 47 as a way to reassert American dominance on the global stage. So he advocates for tough foreign policies, particularly with China as well, and promises to make US energy independent again. So his focus on oil, gas, and coal production is going to be very, very prominent, and what we can expect in his coming years for sure. And then, of course, cutting government spending. So even when we talk about deportation, we have all seen that he doesn't want to spend at all for all that mass deportation, but he's
Yeah.
going to make people deport themselves. So that is definitely another cost cutting agenda he has on Agenda 47.
Yeah.
And then there is tax cuts and economic growth and law and order, revitalizing the American dream in terms of domestic policy. Trump has outlined a vision for reducing the cost of living for American families, providing affordable energy and incentivizing job growth through deregulation. So I think when you were speaking about going to the local schools, local colleges, the community colleges, I think Trump is also meaning to be okay with not being, going for the highest and the best of it all, because they're all so expensive and not everyone can afford, like we were speaking
Yeah.
earlier, right, Sam?
Right.
And then we also have the cultural and social issues. The agenda includes an emphasis on protecting American values, including taking a strong stand on issues like abortion. So I think that is what he was talking about when we were talking earlier as well. But yes, Agenda 47 is something he's going to focus on for sure.
Well, I think he may, because is obviously the most important, most important statement was that he is going to have a mass deportation, and I don't know that how it will lead to, but I think it is something that maybe illegal immigrants need to be little, you know. I mean, they will definitely be scared about it, and they will be very much anxious about it too. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Sam, if there's anyone out there who wants to join, I would just like to repeat my phone number once again. My number is 408-335-6444. That's where you can call in to join if you have anything to say. Even Kunal, in fact, if you want to join in, you're free to join and just give in a call. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us so far, especially Ayush and Kunal. Nidhi Sinha also, we had our first viewer who commented on YouTube. Thank you so much. Sam, anything else you want to say before we really wrap up today's show?
I think instead of just being on today's topic, I think Napasa, we would also like to see some of the different, Twitter posts that has been posted by
Okay.
different New Democratic Party named Jagmeet Singh. So, Controller, would you like to please just go ahead and show our viewers about the tweet that has been posted by Jagmeet Singh, that people what they have commented, and what's something going on Canada also, because it's not only about US, but it's also about
I
the
think a
whole
lot of
world.
folks woke up today.
So I think we could go with the
I think a
comments,
lot of
because
folks
we
woke
have
up
already seen
today
the video.
and woke up really worried, really afraid, felt crushed. And I want you to know that now is the time for us to come together to defend Canadian interests. I know that the results of Trump, right now, what it looks like Trump's election, is going to have serious impacts on Canadians. So we need to come together, all parties, all leaders, and put Canadian interests first. We have to protect Canadian jobs. We have to be prepared for the impacts of potential tariffs and what that would mean for our economy, for manufacturing, for jobs in Canada. We need to be very united to say, whatever our differences are when it comes to Canadian interests and Canadian jobs, we're all going to work together to defend Canada, to defend Canadian jobs, to defend Canadian interests. That's our priority. Donc, je sais que I think a lot of folks will.
All right. So, Control, can you please show the comments that has been posted below the post, so that we can also show it to our viewers and have a quick discussion on what's happening on Canada right now. Yeah. So we can see a few of the comments that. Okay, Smita Mishra, and she has mentioned that let him find jobs in Khalistan. You just need a week's training anyway. All right, definitely. We will, I mean, he will find a job in Khalistan. Next, we can also see language exhibits his terrified tone, gone interesting 4 years. All right. And JK is also saying that Jagmeet doesn't have to worry about jobs. His Khalistani cronies will always have jobs in drug peddling and crime. All right. Then there's also another Kombani who is mentioning that we need Khalistan. Oh my God. Anapasa, what can you say in this? That do you think that people are in favor of this or
I can just say they were really brutal, and
yeah,
they would just give you right, left, and center. And I think when they say it, they mean it. They sure must have seen something. I mean, they're just not commenting. I mean, they're obviously not watching this content for entertainment, right? So they something must have really stirred some fury in them. That's why they have these sorts of comments.
and this is also quite funny that the Shah has mentioned that he looks scared as if Trump is going to invade Canada. It's
Kind
something, yeah, great sense of humor, I would say, right?
of. Yeah.
Then we have more comments from Muhammad, and he's saying the Muslim World League gathered 1,200 scholars in Makkah. Follow the okay for more global. Okay, okay, all right. It's something different. So I think this is something that Jagmeet is saying that all the Canadians needs to be united and needs to be together. But in Nipasa, what can you say? That do you think that Trump's immigration rule is I mean, how is it going to impact Canada? Because Canada is just nearest to US. So I mean, what Canada can face or what Canadians needs to be aware for Trump 2.0.
Well, when we look back at 2024, we have seen a lot of, especially, whether you talk about the US Mexico border or the US Canadian border, we see a lot of folks who wanted to enter US because of some people were laid off. I mean, we saw many layoffs also, and they were trying to flee away, not really flee away, but try to get another job and try to settle in a better way or in another country. And I think that is why, I mean, that is something which is a concern. And talk about Canadians, there. I can't remember which month was it, but for sure there were a lot of layoffs, and they were also. I mean, Canadians were trying to enter the U.S., and I think when we talk about that, we also have. I mean, there could be leniency with regard to visa, but I think what is the main concern is to be documented. You enter the U.S. in a legal way, no matter what, right?
Definitely. And I think that is only the main, point of concern for everyone, even though it's for government. Because even if he's becoming brutal, or even if he's becoming a little tough, I think the main problem is that people are not legalized, to stay in that particular country. So I think, guys, it's always better, to have a proper documentation to, even if you haven't, like to have a visa renewals, then also to go ahead and, to learn about every facts, everything about whatever can help you out in this situation. So I think that will be the great advice that one is looking for. So yeah, and I think with that, Napasa, as we have also almost reached 1 hour of today's episode, and it's almost time for us to say goodbye to our viewers. So, just for the ending note, I would like to say, guys, that today we have talked about Project 2025, and also how it's going to impact how it will lead to an impact on immigration. So it's very clear that why many Americans are concerned about this topic, and this plan is definitely going to change that how government is working right now, and will uh, affect immigration on a broader term. Not only immigration, but will also affect healthcare and other important areas too. So while some people believe that it will bring back some traditional values, and some people are definitely worried about, because they are thinking that it's going to limit their freedoms and definitely going to change country in way that might not be good for everyone. So, Napasa, before leaving or before saying goodbye to our viewers, would you like to share anything about Project 2025 with our viewers?
I mean, yes, whether we talk about potential cuts to critical social programs like healthcare, education, or, further dividing an already polarized nation, I think we are looking forward for a lot that America has to offer to us. And the fear of a rollback on civil rights, economic inequality, and weakened democratic institutions, they have sparked both an alarm and an action. And all these things are really creating a lot of chaos, but more than chaos, I think it's just overthinking. Folks out there are they are we are all overthinking. I won't just say oh, they, but we are all overthinking as in what is going to happen. And you're just talking and talking, and we
Yeah.
want to know, like, as soon as possible, for real, like what is really going to happen. Because right now we are just hanging on where we don't know for certain that this is going to happen for sure, but we are discussing about agendas and policies that could happen. And whether you agree with this vision or not, I think one thing is certain: the next few years will demand our attention, our voices, and our engagement more than ever. So I think as we continue to talk about all these topics, I would really appeal to all of you to really to like, share, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, because we keep having discussions like these. And I
And
would really love you all to be a part
Napasa,
of this. Yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but here's one of our viewers, Kaimat Kareem, who is watching this show from LinkedIn, and he has mentioned that, do you please clear me 2025 is alarming Americans in which sense? So I think now, to hold this 1 hour, we have also talked about this. And Kaimat, thank you so much for your participation and for your question. So I think in short, we can also talk about it. What do you say, Napasa?
Yeah, Kemet, I think so. The key concern, it's alarming because everybody is worried. They are feeling that 2025 is a very, very conservative agenda, and many things in that agenda, not everyone is willing to be a part of, 100% voluntarily. So that is a big alarming thing, and they're scared that they will be forced, or they might arise certain situations where they will have no other choice but to follow Project 2025's agendas. And then the threat to democracy and civil liberties, and then depending political polarization, impact on Black Americans and other minority groups. And that America is a land of immigrants, and a lot of groups make America. So everybody is feeling a little threatened, a little scared, a little anxious, or very anxious. They don't know what's going to happen. And there is uncertainty with regard to the economy, the economic recession, and of course the healthcare cuts, religious rights, and social backlash. Everybody is concerned about that as well. And so I think these are some of the things we really spoke about at length today in this 1 hour session. So, Kenneth, if you, I mean, not to worry, this is going to be there. So you can watch it again right from the beginning, even though the stream will end in a short while. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, and I think Napasa, you have, made Kanmat understand about today's topic pretty well. So, in case, guys, if you still have some questions or still would like to talk about any topic, then please feel free to comment us. We are definitely here, and we will take up your comments, and we will take up all the questions, all the topics, whatever you would like to talk about, and whatever you would like to, post on our shows. So that's all. And thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It was really great having you all. And for more information, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm Sam, and me with my co host Nipasa Pradhan is definitely going to come back tomorrow again on the same platform, daily
Yes.
close at 4 p.m. EDT. So please, Nipasa, go ahead and please, why don't you share your contact details to our viewers?
Yes, I was just about to say that. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And please remember that your participation also matters. So I would really love, we would love you to join us, in these conversations. Could be a very important point of view. So please feel free to join us. And we're going to do this every day. It's called daily immigration dose. It happens at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So don't forget to join us. And the number is 408 335 6444. Once again, I repeat, you can note it down: 408 335 6444. That's my number. You can contact me. I mean, before you call, also, if you want to have a conversation or want to know more about it, you can contact me, WhatsApp me in this number. And I would love to tell you more about daily immigration dose. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more updates on our channel, Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And I had a great time co hosting with my co host, Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. It was good today. Thank you for
Yeah,
doing
me
this
too.
together.
Me too. It was really great. And thank you, everyone. And do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much for joining us. See you tomorrow.
See you.